Hey, it's Ghost. Welcome back to the channel. Give this a thumbs up real quick. We're doing another Crackin' and Chattin' video. This time we're going to talk about SCG Con Las Vegas and how that went. We're really super close to Gothic, really super close to Black Friday tomorrow. So when this uploads, it'll be right smack dab in the middle of that. So why not open a box of AL, which is one of the boxes that we got off the prize wall at SCG Con. And take one last look, appreciate the art, and see what we get. And cracking and chatting. Thanks for joining. Alright. Arthurian Legends. There's a lot of comparisons being drawn right now to AL and how that was released and rolled out to what we think maybe for Gothic. But who knows? It's going to be quite interesting to see. Alright, so I made another big trip from Hawaii to go to SCG Con Las Vegas for a long weekend. So far so good on getting time off from work, but I just don't know how that's going to go moving forward, so just wanted to take advantage of it while I could. Overall, had a really good time. My signed card of the weekend is going to be this guy, Little Sir Bors the Younger, signed by Margaret. This took some doing. I was trying to find this all weekend, and it finally came down to someone pulling it out of a sealed event and trading it with me. And thanks a lot. I really appreciate that, because this is exactly the card that I wanted to get signed by her to commemorate the weekend. Other than that, I got this little guy from Kevmo, who was running the Learn to Play area, and I gave him a little something to thank him for doing that. And I didn't know that if you give him something, a card that you sign or design or whatever, he'll give you one of his banana arts. And I just thought this was the coolest one. So this is the one that I pulled out of his binder. Awesome. And then also got the Sorcerer from Frog Imago. That's pretty cool. Alright, let's get started. Overall, it was yet another great time hanging out with the community. Again, the community is really what makes Sorcery something special. And just really had a really good time. It was a little bit smaller of an event than probably both Houston and Baltimore. But you know, it was a little bit smaller, a little bit more intimate, and then you combine that with the fact that it was in Las Vegas and there's just so much to do. And you know, if you've got a itch to crack packs and gamble, then you probably got an itch to go out to the tables and the slot machines, which are right outside the door. Alright, a little Elite Sir Ironside to start out. And no foil. One of the things that I wanted to talk about right out the gate was I think this one had absolutely the best layout of any of the 3 SCG cons that I went to. As we talked about in Houston, it was kind of very spread apart, and then when we got to Baltimore, everything was all close together. Oh, I better make sure about any curio hunts. We've got Squires, don't want to miss that. Baltimore was a little bit more compact, but out of the way, and then this was the best of both worlds, and I think it really signified just how minded the team was, and Drew especially, on making little incremental improvements to improve the experience for everybody. Because when you first walked into this venue in Las Vegas, which was kind of a little bit out the way, you walked right into where we were playing Sorcery, and it was right next to the Learn to Play and was very prominent, and everybody that went to the convention had to walk by the Learn to Play again, and it was so nice to see people checking it out and stopping to Learn to Play. The only downside, of course, is there were some Sorcery artists like Margaret and Brian Wackowitz, and I can't remember, but they were in their own little artist area, and they were kind of off to the side, and it was really cold over where they were. Cold Vegas doesn't really compute, but actually that is really a thing in November there, which, hey, who would have knew? So yeah, a little separated from that, a little separated from all the vendors, but I don't know. I think, you know, in a world of trade-offs, this was a pretty good series of trade-offs. Alright. So, Friday. Showed up Friday morning, and I made a little mistake because I wasn't sure if I was going to be going to this thing, and I made a little mistake, and I didn't register for the morning sealed championship tournament. which meant that it was sold out. There were about 10 to 15 of us that were unable to register. Little Sir Gawain, Elite, 3 colors. Cool art. Just sucks that the Elite rarity kind of turns you off to the whole Sir chain. Yeah, so there were about 10 to 15 of us that were unable to get into the sealed event. And I was going around telling everybody that, yeah, no problem. They're just going to go ahead and increase the number like they did at the last 2 events. And it turns out that the SCG staff was more interested in starting on time than they were about accommodating the players who traveled from really kind of far all over the place to attend this event and play. So a little upsetting out the gate that the event started and there were a whole bunch of us that weren't able to play. And well, the good thing is that pretty much all but 1 or 2 were casual players. And what we decided to do, we got 8 people wrangled up, and we bought a box of beta, and we bought a box of AL, and we did our own sealed limited draft with 7 packs total. There's a great Drowning of Men, our first unique. That's a great way to start this box. Do we have a foil? No, we do not. I'll put the uniques right here so we can see them. Yeah, so we did our own little 8-person sealed limited event, Finwife, and had a great time. We limited it to 3 rounds. There was a guy there with that owned or managed a store, not in Vegas, but around, and was able to create an event in the Play Network, so we were able to get participation, and it organized our tournament for us. So the other cool thing is I pulled a non-foil ring out of that, which was, yeah, that made the morning okay. The final thing about that, about the morning there that was really cool was that Drew actually noticed that Drew had known that we weren't able to get into the event and was trying to see what he could do for us, and it was unsuccessful. So when he found out that we were doing our own little sealed event, nice little wizard's den, he hooked us up and he took care of us. All right, our first foil is an Arc Lightning Ordinary Magic. Look at how cool that art is. So he hooked us up and was able to get us some tickets. And he hooked us up in another way that I'm not sure is okay to talk about publicly. So I'll just say that he made everything right. And the fact that we only did 3 rounds and not 7 was just really cool. I just want to compare that. Look at Kevmo's. Love it. So yeah, Drew really went out of his way to make sure we were taken care of on that. And it worked out really, really well. For having to deal with a little bit of disappointment in the morning, it all worked out just fine. Yeah, so I got that ring, which is awesome. Aeronator, the wife, she pulled the Questing Beast. And the other cool thing about Friday was that with Drew's influence, he was able to get the scheduling fixed. Remember how we were talking about how both Houston and Baltimore, everything overlapped? So if you wanted to play in the sealed, you had 7 rounds of sealed. Even if you wanted to do it just casually, you had 7 rounds of sealed. And then you had to drop out so you could go do the community constructed in the afternoon. And guess what? They fixed it. There's a pre-con event, pre-con battle event in the afternoon, and just swapped those 2. And what do you know? We were all able to participate in both all of our 7 rounds of sealed, and followed by the community constructed. And that's important because you got double tickets, so you could get 100 tickets per just participating, and you got to try your decks out that you were trying to do. So really solid improvement. All right, Blacksmith family, that's our second ordinary foil of the box. The other cool thing about that community constructed event is I got to play against Good Luck Bad and his Rockin' Spellslinger deck. Lots of good conversation. If you haven't seen the Golden Eagle video that he was interviewed and talked about his deck, it was fantastic. But I got a little sneak preview because, of course, he beat me so fast that we had plenty of time to talk about what he was doing with the Spellslinger, and it's just super cool that just that one little card, one little extra card plus a whole bunch of rivers plus going second and being able to scry could have such a meaningful impact on your ability to get the big bangers out. Something, not this exact card, but something like this, where it's a big cost, big beast, and if you can't deal with it, then you pretty much lose, and that's how it worked for me. So it was really cool talking to him about his aspirations to earn that rainbow foil, and spoiler alert, he got that rainbow foil, and I don't know if anybody else is going to even have a chance. I'm actually surprised Eric's Curiosa made a rainbow foil prize avatar for that, because who would have thought it would have come in the top 4 and able to earn one? I mean, that's just pretty rad. So I tried my my little homebrew Avatar of Earth plus Wolves again and the Moon Song, and it just got absolutely wrecked every single time, so that was at least a good indicator. And once again, I was glad I got to play in that community event so I could know that that was not the deck that I wanted to use for the Crossroads the next day. So it was really great. Got to do, got to play pretty much all day without any frustration after, you know, the morning got resolved, and just had a real great day. The other thing was, so you had the 7 rounds in the official limited championship, and Froggy Mago ended up taking it down at the end after a very, very long day when they were kicking the rest of us out of the tournament hall. Oh, what do we have here? This would be a Funeral Pyre, exceptional foil. Let's take a look at this quality real quick. You know what? I don't think I'm mad at that at all. There's no lines. Huh. Really nice. You can look at the back. Super cool. So yeah, Froggy Mago ended up winning it. It was maybe a little controversial, but he's got it on video. Can't wait to see it. So go watch Froggy's video when it comes out. He videotaped the whole. He recorded the whole match. It ended kind of after a judge call that I don't really want to get into, but definitely a little bit of controversy on how that ended. So check out his video. I can't wait to see his analysis. And you know, it'd be really cool is if he brings his opponent on to talk about it now that everything's kind of calmed down. And just, you know, kind of recap the event. That would be really cool. A nice pro move. But I think that was back-to-back wins for him. So pretty cool. Managed to go, let's see, I didn't keep track of my record on that, but that's okay. Friday night, a small crowd of us, we went out to dinner to Benihana in the hotel there. So pretty cool. Got to hang out with a few people. Got to meet Shibby in person for the first time. Got to meet RC Koenig for the first time. Have a nice dinner, and a couple other people. Oh, what a great hit! Maybe not worth a ton of money there, but any unique foil in AL is a good foil. Makes it a good box. Hell yeah. Check that out. White Heart. Other minions and locations nearby can't be attacked. Fantastic. That is a great way to... I think we're still in the first little half of the box. Alright, so Saturday, Crossroads Day. Saturday Crossroads. Like I said, switched decks. I tried my Pathfinder that I made improvements on since Baltimore, and my Fire Earth Pathfinder, and ended up going 4 and 3. So, yeah, pretty good. Ended up getting 100 tickets out of the deal. It was great. But man, this Crossroads was absolutely nuts if you haven't been following the Discord, and honestly, what an epic way to basically finish the season. Right? So it's right before Gothic comes out, it's right before the meta shakes up, and it's right before, you know, we saw all these rule changes and card clarifications and fixes that were, you know, we've been playing with, like the Grim Guy's Arms for wow, look at this pack, this is a nightmare. The rule changes that we've been playing with, lots of reversals on some rules and a few cards. So really a great way to end it. And if you didn't see, the top 8 avatars played were Spellslinger, Avatar of Fire of all things, a Battle Mage, a Sorcerer, 2 Druids, a DragonLord, and a Death Speaker. Like, holy cow. I'm not sure if everybody was just shook up by the new Gothic sites that were allowed, like the Field of Fixus and the River of Blood and the Haystacks that were allowed to be played. If that caused everyone to kind of shake up the meta. Ooh, here's a Dosmary Pool unique non-foil. Awesome there. Can we back it up with a foil? Nope, little treetop hideout. But yeah, like I think a lot of people played a lot of new different kinds of decks. And of course, I had to go up against a net decked Archie again, and I reflected a little bit about playing against Archimago. It's I really think I'm actually surprised that nothing about Archie was nerfed. I don't know if you can nerf anything about Archie. It might just have to be a straight up ban. I know that Druid got nerfed, but man, Archie is just so miserable to play against. It's just so different, and like how you either have to build a whole deck to stand up to it, or you just get wrecked, and it's just not fun to play against. And I just make assumptions about the type of player that wants to play Archie. And you can say I thought, you can say you just like to play control all you want, but really you just want to make it so the other person doesn't have any fun. So that's what I was thinking, but you know what? A little bit of reflection there, and for me, yep, I tend to react poorly. I make a lot of mistakes. I, just want the game to be over. Probably should just concede. And, that's something that I'm identifying as a weakness, where, if you get extra frustrated, it's kind of like golf. I love golfing. You got to kind of just keep your shit together and, learn from it. Because you end up in this game of Sorcery, you're really kind of playing against yourself in a lot of ways, too. Because, as we talked about, it's not just what cards win. Ooh, all right, a nice tithe. It's so funny, the number of people that don't know how to pronounce tithe. It's actually probably a good thing. It means they're not paying them. Yeah, so, all right. There's an exceptional Pukas. Ooh, look at the misprint on the foiling. That's pretty cool. Any misprint collectors out there? Is that desirable? That's pretty cool. That might just have to stay in the binder, but, like we like to say, everything's got a price. Hit me up. Pretty cool. Yeah, there's a lot about Sorcery games that can kind of make you feel bad, and, playing against Archie is something I just had to get over. Hopefully the new avatars make it so that doesn't happen so much, but, yeah, I'll reflect on that. So, appreciate my opponent on that one for sure. But again, another cool thing about that Saturday was that they fixed the schedule yet again. So, followed through on, I think, all the feedback from the last 2 weekends, and we didn't have to drop out of the Crossroads in order to play the Community Limited in the afternoon. And on top of that, they paused the Community Limited event and brought everyone over for the photo and the awards and the giveaways, as opposed to making, the last couple of weekends where we were all off to the way far side. All right, there's a Forge Ordinary site. Were we off to the far side, couldn't hear what was going on, didn't know. Hopefully they would come get you if you want a giveaway. But this time, all way different. Just stopped, pressed pause, did the ceremony stuff. We all participated. Really, really was awesome. So I really hope they kind of learn, how good that change was and kind of stick to it. So this mat we're playing on is the City of Glass playmat that actually Arinator won. My wife, she won it in the giveaway. So I think they gave away 8 of these playmats, and she didn't go to Baltimore. She went to Houston and won the Arcane Barrage playmat, which is just wild, 1 of 8. And then she goes to the next one, or skips Baltimore and then goes to Las Vegas. And out of, I don't know, what was it, 100 and something people playing the game, an entrance, and now that people didn't have to drop to play the other one, there were more people in the pool, and she wins this one. So we didn't have to use our tickets to get a playmat. That was pretty cool. And I actually didn't play in the limited in the evening, but Arinator in that limited event pulled a foil Vesuvius, which is just crazy. I tell you, her luck just unbelievable. All right, Salmon of Knowledge is an elite here. I actually started doing the trading and got my thousands of cards that I carried in my backpack and my carry-on suitcase out for trades and really started getting the ball rolling. It was pretty cool. And that was my entire plan for Sunday. Oh, I left this pile here from the last foil. Let's see. Nothing. Thin Wife, King Banshee, Common Cottagers at the back. So on Sunday, my whole entire plan was to post up and get the boxes of cards out and the binders and just do trades. And it turned out that there wasn't a whole lot going on besides the finals and the team sealed event, so there wasn't a whole lot of turnout in the morning on Sunday. And most everybody was playing in the team sealed, so teamed up with Chibi and Aaronator, and we got in on the team sealed. And if you haven't done a team sealed event before, it is so much fun. You get all your normal 6 packs per person, and then you're able to kind of pool them all together into making 3 different decks. And then you play, it was just 3 rounds, so it wasn't a huge commitment, and it was just so much fun. Really tons of fun. Sir Lamorak, really good card for gameplay for sure, but another Elite. Let's see, we get a foil. Wouldn't it be cool if this ends up being one of them boxes of AL that you get 2 unique foils in? So right now we might be toast on the box, actually. Got 4 non-foil uniques and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 foil unique or foils, not foil uniques. So maybe we might be curio hunting. Yeah, did an absolute ton of trading on Sunday after that event. Like, people kept coming out of the woodwork. It was super cool. Here's some cool stuff that's now available. Ended up with this King Arthur gilded that maybe we can see if there might be another one hanging out in here, huh? And then probably the best trade of the weekend. Oh, actually, no, this is the second best trade of the weekend, but look at that Wave 1 Water Castle Curio. And that is an amazing piece of art. I actually have the canvas print. I wish I could show you. And that is Aranja art or Rafaela. Man, it's just so nice. It's hard to want to sell or trade this away, but it is for sale, so reach out if you're interested. But yeah, did a ton of trading. Got some collection stuff going on. I'm postured really well for the TCG Player 10% sale, which should be live right now as this video goes live. But it's about 12:30 in the morning here in Hawaii, and oh man, at least we didn't get tricked by that Pendragon just now. So yeah, 12:30 a.m. filming this video so that it can be up during the Black Friday event on TCG Player. Tax Collector. So yeah, it took Aaronator and I probably 15 total hours to sort and inventory everything, but we did it, got it done just in time. Didn't do all the stuff they wanted to do, and having to obviously do this video late at night, but yeah, did really well. Looking forward to this weekend. Hopefully it's as crazy as we think it is. And you know, if you see this and it's still Black Friday, check the description for my link to my CCG Player store. It's always nice to support the community and people like us. There's a bunch of us, so if you can find in some of the Discords and support, you also get 10% back in credit about a month later, which is pretty sweet. Just be mindful that if you buy something over $500, you're only going to get $50 for that one per item max. Now there's one of the cards that was in Good Luck Bad's deck right there. And no other foil. No curio there. I think we might be curio hunting. The other cool thing once I got back is got some pretty cool swag in. I was giving away a lot of my sleeves that have the avatar back. I don't have one in front of me now, but I made a little transition. So this is what I was rocking in my decks and in my limited sleeving in Las Vegas. The Spellbook and the Atlas, I think they came out super cool, but if you're playing with me, it's kind of hard to tell. Also, I promise you my design had Atlas and Spellbook with the same size letters, and it's just how they came out. So I made a change, and I think it's for the better. Let me know what you think. But this is what I went with. I went with getting rid of the words, tinting one blue, keeping the black, and just so, like, you know, when Arthurian and I play together, we can keep our stuff apart, for one, and then here's the ones for the site. So I think they turned out pretty great. I wasn't sure about the blue. I ordered a whole bunch because Dragon Shield gave me a coupon for a big % off, so I took well advantage of that. But yeah, if you're playing against me now, you know exactly what I've got there in the sites and the spellbook. So yeah, pretty cool. Alright, what else? Let's talk about DragonLord. So the other thing you can see in the background, I've got 3 DragonLord sets there, and obviously Arthurian and I were there, so we were able to get our 2 per day. Alright, okay, a Sir Lancelot True Unique. That is the 5th. Oh no, sorry. I messed that up. That is the 4th unique non-foil in the box, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 foils are out of the box. So no foil there. So yeah, you're able to get the DragonLord at MSRP, and just want to talk about a couple things where, yeah, we got Gothic coming up, and demand for DragonLord has definitely gone way down, but I kind of want to address a mindset that's out there in the community that I think everybody has in their head because of the videos they saw from Gen Con, and that was lines wrapped around the corner and all kinds of people that had no affiliation with Sorcery buying these things because everyone was hearing that they were scarce and they could flip them. And I'm telling you, Houston, Baltimore, and Vegas, that just was not the case. Drew managed it so perfectly well and opened the registers like 5 minutes at a time, like when people needed them that had been playing or whatever, that like that just didn't happen. And the people that did buy their allocation opened them for the most part. I mean, what, if there's 100 and something people at the event, and the way that Drew managed it meant that it was really Sorcery players that got all the allocation. Then what are we thinking? Maybe 300 total boxes, and what have we seen? Maybe 10 on eBay and 5 in the marketplace? There really isn't that much DragonLord getting put out there on the market. And so when you look at TCG Player and you see something like 5 total listings on the DragonLord foil, and 2 of them are drastically lower than the rest, and yeah, they're not selling. Maybe tomorrow will be a little different. They are definitely not selling, but there really aren't that many on the market. And so one little thing that could spike demand might make these DragonLord foils and sets, honestly, really scarce. But one of the things that I was able to do is I had a standing offer open for anybody that was not wanting to get their full allocation. There were so many people that were just getting their 1 on Friday, and they were like, you know what, I know it's MSRP, but I really don't need it. Well, I told them if they wanted to sell it to me, I'd buy it from them for a reasonable price, and I was able to get a few extra sets. And yeah, so if you need some non-foil sets of DragonLord, I have a bunch of these ready to go. If you need to get a non-foil set, and I got a whole bunch of foils too that I can do, you know, pretty reasonable. But you know, we're not flooding the market. So it'd be really interesting to see if there's any type of synergies. It'd be really interesting to see when they run out. It's gonna be really interesting to see when they decide to stop giving them out. It's gonna be really interesting to see if they put them back on Team Covenant, or if they just keep them for a little while at these events and then stop doing it. It's gonna be really interesting to see. But man, if there's 250 total sets and most people are opening them and keeping them or trading them for the foils that they need, like, there's a lot of people that are slowly but surely getting their three a weekend and building their sets. All right, Love Potion. I lost to that card in Limited, and I did not give this the respect that this card deserved. That is for certain. All right, nothing crazy here. Got 4 packs to go. All right, next, let's talk about Gothic. If you haven't seen the pre-con battles, that were posted both by the official Sorcery account and the Team Covenant account, you have to watch them. Like the art that's displayed, the spoilers that come out every minute. I mean, it's hard to keep up with. You got to go and slow down and rewind and watch it. It's just fantastic. If you don't have the hype built in your mind that this set's going to be just absolutely unbelievable, then you have to watch those pre-con battles. I don't want to ruin it, but the one between Chase and Ira really is just incredible and really just illustrates the power on both the low-end range of one of their avatars and like the mid-range on the other, and just how fun that match would have been to play. So, you know, one of the worries that I had was, how is gameplay going to be? They're dropping a crap load of cards. How is it going to synergize? You know, yeah, I'm convinced on that aspect, for sure. So watch those videos. Now let's talk about the rollout. Man, you saw a lot of anger in the last couple of weeks as stores were getting their allocation, or rather they were getting their non-allocation, or stores or pretty prominent people in the community getting, what, 25% of the quantity that they're ordering. A lot of stores very upset that they've been trying to build a community for however long, and they didn't get hardly any product for the first, I don't know, I want to call it a first wave, but the first release out of distribution. And honestly, the way I've heard it was because of you had to be buying from distribution to get your numbers up. And so there are plenty of stores out there that got heavily over allocated, and they're treating the product like they treated, or like their experience from Arthurian Legends. And, you know, if you can make a quick $20,000 by dumping your entire product out on the market, I don't know, there's a lot of stores that are going to do that. There's a lot of stores that don't need to do that. There's one store that was using this opportunity to bundle up with all their Arthurian Legends that they were stuck holding, and it was pretty obvious. It was a really good deal, but, you know, with the demand and everybody talking about it, and, like, yeah, Rudy put them out pretty cheap. Sir Balin, that's nice. But the hype and the demand is just, it's just super high. And I think just like how Rudy's all sold out very quickly, all these dumps, all these cheap ones on TCG Player, I think there's 140 total boxes that are kind of below $160. You don't think they're going to fly off the shelves on Black Friday 10% off? I don't know. So I think we're going to see a short-term, it's going to be hard to get product. I don't know. I mean, yeah, pretty good right now, but in the short term, I think it's going to be selling out a distro. Now, when EC decides to turn the faucet back on and how long that takes, I don't know. But there is an incentive there because Team Covenant, the partner, is selling at MSRP, and they've always sold at MSRP. And in fact, to beta, where they were the only ones selling and they were at MSRP, it really caused a spike in the short term until the rest of the waves had come out. A lot of history that people are seeming to forget. But so yeah, I would say if you want any, do not wait. We are on the last pack magic here. So yeah, don't wait. For me, it's been a struggle because I'm on Hawaii, or I'm on Oahu in Hawaii, and nobody wants to ship here, of course. Or if they do, it's going to get on a boat, and it's going to take 3 weeks, and it's going to be super expensive. But I've managed to get over 50 boxes at this point. Not exactly at the most reasonable prices, but okay. All right, overbearing bailiff. No surprise foil. Let's see, we're curio hunting here. I actually was supposed to get a whole lot more boxes and kind of had the rug pulled out on me at the last minute, which is really unfortunate. But, you know, people don't want to just open and repack a few boxes, even if the process being spelled out and big sale offer. So, I mean, whatever. If they can sell it easier path of least resistance, that's fine. I'm over it, but, you know, it is what it is. But I'm going to be stocked pretty well, I think, enough to be able to get some singles out. So, you know, check out all my links, bookmark it, and you know, see how it works out. Just might not be immediate. But I don't know. I got to tell you, looking at the stuff, I got to hold a box while I was in Baltimore, an empty one, and it's super high quality. All right, nothing here. Super high quality product. when you look at these pre-con battles and the spoilers, you're seeing the art, and it's just incredible. It really is. Like some of these sites that give the extra 3 threshold on the Genesis. Excuse me, on the Genesis. I mean, those sites like Autumn Bloom are fantastic. And the gameplay video, just awesome. So, I mean, what boxes are we checking here? So here's the short list that I made. We've got the art is incredible. The initial demand is high. If we can go through 9,000 boxes, yeah, good price, but that demand is super high. I think that was something important. You've got initial access at under MSRP, which is fantastic. The initial gameplay videos that, like I said, I was kind of worried about, and talking to some of the players, who knows how it's going to go. You've got to redo all your decks now. It's a new season. The other cool thing I think that checks a box is the meta got real diverse going in. Like everyone thought it was Archie, everyone thought it's all Druid, and you know what? It was more than that. I mean, those decks and the people playing them in Las Vegas was just super incredible. And honestly, the decisions that the company is making, the attitude of constant improvement is finally just so evident. Whether it was the scheduling of the little things that were annoying people at the events, for just however small number of people that were attending them, and also perfectly timing the card and rule changes. I mean, it sucks if you bought a lot of Grim Guy's Arms, however you pronounce it. Sucks if you were one of those that bought a lot of foiled Grims, or if you're really attached to your Druid that got nerfed. But I don't know. I think they perfectly time those changes when everyone's going to have to rebuild their decks anyways. And I'm not mad at it. Going to be pulling apart the decks. The other funny thing that I wanted to do, just as a side note, is I bought the Druid front and back artist proofs from Brian Wackwitz while I was in Houston, actually. And I commissioned him for his most complex type of painting on the back, and I asked him to do a full scene, full artistic creativity, however he wanted to do it. And he hasn't started it yet, but I was thinking maybe I would message him and just tell him I wanted to have the Druid holding a Nerf gun named Tawny and just shooting Nerf bullets. I think that would be really, really funny, because if you haven't seen the Nerfs or the changing of the rules for Druid, it basically makes Tawny a one and done, and makes it a little less of a challenge on deciding when you're going to flip them over. But anyways, that's pretty funny. The last box that I think is checked when it comes to Gothic is that for once, everybody is bitching. The hate is equal. There's stores bitching, there's the game piecers bitching, there's the hardcore collectors are bitching, some of the same voices that you usually hear. But I think if everybody's got something to bitch about, it's putting it on the forefront of everyone's mind. So I think that's a win. So I don't know. You tell me if you think that everybody finding something to bitch about isn't a sign that this is going to be just it's just going to blow up. I think it's going to be incredible. But there's definitely some open questions. Like, what's the quality going to be like? So I just held up these Arthurian Legends cards, and they were great. But a couple boxes ago, not so great. So, man, if the quality isn't good, if they didn't fix that, I don't know. What are the prices of singles going to be like? How many are going to collect 440 plus foils? How many are going to collect curios? What are the curios going to be? Can Eric's Curiosa handle and manage the demand? And it seems like they have a great plan, and I'm impressed so far, and it's because of the team. I know it, and I'm confident, but, those are definitely open questions. So, I don't know, I think my advice would be to just try to tune out the negativity, enjoy it, maybe stay off the official Discord general section, but just enjoy the videos that are out, enjoy the hype, and don't buy into the negativity. If the first couple of weeks have stores dumping, or even if there's distro dumps, or if it sells out and the price goes up, all of that they're overall very healthy signs of a healthy market. That's what I believe. But the other last little plug, try the game. Perfect opportunity with these pre-cons. they look really awesome and a lot of fun. So yeah, try the game, Mike. Try the game. All right, yeah. So I want to hear your thoughts. Do a video. There's no better time than now to make quality content and give it a shot. You're probably better than you think. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. One last shout out. I wanted to thank Drew for just being an absolute rock star at the three SCG events that I went to. Jesse for the 2. All the judges. Agent Paco, Spin Scott, and Kevmo at the Learn to Play. Actually, Spin Scott, if you read this, I want to send you something. I did a little something nice for volunteering you guys' time to run that Learn to Play. It was a lot of effort, and you know, I went and, you know, maybe it's selfishly I played the whole time and did my trades and stuff, but you guys giving back to the community was really something special. But anyways, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you enjoyed this little AL opening. And again, anytime you can get a unique foil is good. Hey, if you made it to the end, I would really appreciate a subscribe, share it with your friends, and just drop a little comment letting me know if you think this white heart could be something special in Gothic. But first, go watch that pre-con battle. All right, thanks and have a great day.